was very excited with the last, discussion that you were having with Pramod sir on affinity bias, and I'd like to share my, viewpoint as well, if sirs allow it. So, what I was getting from that discussion also was that, affinity bias is something that will come very naturally, because regardless of what, it is human tendency to kind of want to be, related to someone. So we kind of look for certain comfort also. So ये बहुत natural होता है कि हम किसी, if someone is from our place, or if someone looks like us or something, we tend to kind of gel with them, because we kind of tend to look as comfort also, human nature पे. तो ऐसा हो सकता है कि, you said that one of the ways to counter it perhaps is to exercise objectivity, which is, कि इस point पे दूर सकते हैं. Now with sir's years of wisdom and experience, exercising objectivity can still come. I mean, it can still arrive. But what if I continue with this bias? I keep, allowing this bias to happen, and then it happens that किसी एक person को बहुत ज़्यादा expectations हो गया उन पे, because I have had this affinity bias on someone. That's why my idea was coming when you were talking about it. We students hear this term, student's pet, teacher's pet. And I've has faced this, a student of my classmate, I remember, who kind of broke down mentally because of the amount of pressure, that expectations. कि जब भी कोई difficult problem होता था, तो उस पे ही सब आंखें देखते थे. So how can it become difficult to counter, also after a point, and how do we do it, because it can become detrimental to that person also, not just, yeah.
So always it is, when you look at these biases, or, as a leader, majorly because all of them are leaders. So as leader, when you start doing this, there is a dependency of both people. The follower, the person whom you are trying to actually have bias with, and the person, because he is having bias, he is also going to have affinity with you. So he's also going to have association with you, and this is going to be carried forward in his conversations also. So maybe wherever he goes, maybe wherever he associates, he's also going to be very happy about it, and he's going to say, my boss is, I am his pet. My boss likes me. He gives me more work. He believes in me. He trusts me so much. Whatever information I give him, he's going to take it. So that dependency actually comes between both these people. So the leader as well as the follower. So the dependent, that relationship is going to be based on dependency. The affinity itself is going to bring in a lot of dependency. And because of that, your decision also is going to be the consequence of it. So when you take decisions, you're going to make sometimes errors. Sometimes, it can be a good one. Sometimes it can be a bad one. So the leader has to take the responsibility of both. If it's going to be a good thing, very good. But it is not always possible that it is going to be a good one. It is not always possible that the affinity that he carries with that person, or 4 or 5 people, whatever it is, that 4 or 5 people, it is not possible that always it is going to be a positive outcome. So in that case, the responsibility entirely will lie on the leader. So the leader is going to take the responsibility of whatever is going to happen. At that time, the affinity, the person taking affinity is not going to come into the picture. He is not going to say that he is responsible, because affinity is completely there. And then he has also taken things for granted. Both of them have taken each other for granted. So they fall into the comfort zone. So this is going to be the consequence of things, and repercussions can be, other things as well. The team members are demotivated. They will observe this and they will not know what is happening. They will feel that bias is there, and this thing is going to fall on the personality of both the leader as well as the follower. So
Thank you so much, ma'am.
In our case, ma'am, we have so much avenues.
Yes, sir.
That we can utilize every person, because it is not one type of job we have. Because there are certain persons who are suited for clerical job or written part, whose written part is strong. Some are suitable for field jobs. So accordingly, they are employed. Both are blue-eyed. We call blue-eyed. So
sir, if you are able to identify that, sir, as a leader, if you are able to identify the ability and capability of people and accordingly you're defining them,
yes,
then there is no problem.
Because the thing is that every job cannot be done by every single person.
Exactly. Yeah.
Some would be suited for, as I said, some clerical job or written part of a work.
Yeah.
Like
Yes.
we have battalion headquarters, that is location away from border, where we have all the clerical staff, other things, other administrative paraphernalia. So there we want people with some knowledge, some writing power, so that they can do calculations, etc. They can fill up the registers, other part.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
everybody cannot do that. So we employ such persons who can do. And then field is separate, totally different ball game. So those who are good in academics, they cannot be a good on field.
Yes.
So therefore, those things. And as I said earlier also in one of the lectures, that we are here not by design, by default. I am commandant of a particular unit by virtue of my being posted in that battalion. They have to bear me, whatever qualities, whatever traits I have. And I have to extract work from them. That is my ability. That's why I am being paid for. To optimally utilize the resources at hand. I cannot get chosen people. Then everybody can get the job done. What for I am required then? Different people, different qualities, different capabilities. Everybody cannot be on same platform. Even in field also, somebody would perform better, somebody will be lagging behind. But in forces, we bring everyone to one level, same level. During basic training itself. That is why force is for commoners. Neither too low nor too high. Everybody is brought on same level of thinking.
Yes.
Because we have a different type of a job.
Right, sir.
Either too much think tank, we don't require that much reasoning. Logical reasoning to solve logical problems, day-to-day problems, day-to-day challenges, which are akin to the force, unique to the force.
Right, sir. So actually, see, you have this discrete, if you are able to discretely allocate work based on their ability, capability, then there is no issue. If there is a problem in terms of bias, any one particular bias also, it is going to impact the decision making and other areas as well. So that's what we are trying to look at. So I'm just sharing the slide again. Yeah, so we had one or two situations which we actually, this one situation here. Let's just quickly go through this. This is young. There is actually, which pilot do you prefer out of these two people? Now, Richa and Rajiv. So this young pilot, Wing Commander Rajiv Ahuja with co-pilot Reena Kumar. Actually, he's announcing this on the plane. Welcome on board to the flight from Mumbai to Delhi. I am from Delhi. The weather is sunny throughout the journey. We are third in priority for takeoff and we should depart in about 5 minutes. We shall be covering approximately 900 kilometers in near 1 hour, 20 minutes. Kindly fasten your seat belts. So this is what Rajiv says. And the second person is Sunaina. So this is your pilot Sunaina with co-pilot Richa. So welcome on board to flight from Mumbai to Delhi. I am from Ranchi. It's a bit cloudy and predicted light to heavy rainfall. We are third in priority to take off. We should depart in about 5 minutes. We shall be covering approximately 900 kilometers in next 1 hour, 20 minutes. Kindly fasten your seatbelts. So out of these two, dialogues that you have here, and the two names, you may have some preferences of the pilot. Why do you prefer this, any one particular pilot, is a question.
The first one, ma'am.
The first one.
The question is, the question is designed
Because the weather is sunny throughout the journey, that's why I would prefer the first one.
First one, okay. Because it is sunny throughout the journey.
Yeah.
Okay, right, sir. Thank you.
The question is designed to reject second one.
Okay.
सही है.
Designed to reject the second one. So why do you want to reject second one, sir? Your
Because in first case, they say everything is fine, sunny, and he belongs to Delhi as if the route he has to fly of his own mind makeup. And in second case, she says I am from Ranchi, as if she might be missing in Delhi itself. Then the weather has been made such a in such a situation. It's heavy rainfall, predictable, cloudy, everything. I think the question, if the situation was same, then it would have been better to give a choice.
Secondly, both the pilots in the second choice are women.
The
Okay.
pilot Rajiv
Ma'am,
is
if
announced
you allow-
himself wing commander, and the pilot Sunita
Actually,
didn't say anything about
he
his
has
rank.
to gain the confidence of the passengers first before he takes
Yes,
off.
yes. Confidence also.
In second situation, if you see carefully,
both
it
are
is,
girls.
instilling a
take
kind
off
of sense of fear in the heart of passengers. This should have
Actually,
been
the first
avoided.
one sounds very confident, second is not sounding.
No,
That's
it
why
is
you're rejecting.
Madam,
typically-
first one, being
Yes.
commander is also more qualified than others.
Qualified, okay. Okay. All right, sir. Yeah. Okay, you have your
For the
logic
reason
there.
here, decision making are different.
Okay, sir. I got it. So, you mean to say the qualification wise and the weather is also pretty, this is better, the first one, because it's very clear. And also because maybe one of the other reason, maybe because he's from Delhi. So maybe he's from the same place. So still you feel confident that, he may be a better pilot. All right. So let's see. The affinity bias, like we said, now we have people and then we try to associate ourselves with that person because of certain qualities that we have, and we look at that and the other person and say, yes, he's also having the similar. He dresses like me, he walks like me, he talks like me, he thinks like me, he strategizes. So maybe so many things comes into your mind. Pramod sir, you were saying something? Gurinder sir, your voice is breaking. Okay, now looking at confirmation bias. Confirmation bias, we just came to this point wherein we're trying to confirm whatever we have. We like something, and some other person is also giving you the same kind of information. So we like to confirm on that part. So this person is giving you information, then it must be correct because of some reason. So to reduce all these biases, we spoke about the strategies that you can adopt. Now, set your goal properly, have relevant data before you try to take any decision. Then, because we also know that it is affecting our decision making and it also affects others, that means the team members. So we have to be a little more careful. So whom else can I check? So maybe you can also have a second point checkup. Because sometimes maybe in some decisions which are very crucial, maybe you will feel that I don't want to risk taking bias decision. So that point, maybe you can, take somebody else's, opinion as well, whom you trust that that person is not biased and he can take a unilateral decision, give you a better solution to whatever you have thought in mind. So a team review meeting, this is a situation again, you notice that Ria has contributed an idea and no one listens to. After some time, Ajit contributes the same idea that everyone agrees with and likes. Is there a bias at play? How do you deal with it?
Yes, there is obvious bias at play.
Yes.
And if we are in position to remove the bias, we should call a spade and we should review the choice
uh, and support RIA accordingly, if we are in the position to do so.
Okay. Now you're in a team review meeting, sir. You're the boss. So how will you actually handle the situation where people are agreeing upon Ajit and not even bothered about RIA? So how will you tell them what they did is wrong or right or what?
I will not straightway express on the issue, but indirectly I will convey my displeasure that a few moments back RIA was contributing with the same idea and nobody adhered to that. Nobody supported her. But now Ajit has said the same thing and he is being supported. He is being confirmed. He is being his idea is being liked. So I will convey my displeasure, convey my disliking for this bias indirectly in the meeting.
Okay. Right.
My approach
Thank you. So
would be
that's
like
a good. I think that's a very diplomatic way of doing, because you're not, giving any displeasure to anybody. You're trying to handle that so that they get the point.
Yeah.
मैम ये भी तो हो सकता है ना कि रिया जो है वो कितनी अनुभव है, उसकी एक्सपीरियंस ऑफ सर्विस जो है उस मैटर में कितनी है, और ये जो दूसरा अजीत है जो है वो उसका अनुभव कितना है इस जो भी मीटिंग की टॉपिक्स हैं. इट्स डिपेंड अपॉन दीस थिंग आल्सो.
Okay. So, but how will you deal with this situation, sir? If you know that it is wrong, how will you handle the situation?
Ma'am, here the leader's role come into play.
Yes, sir. Right.
Because as a commander, I have to put them on right track.
Yes.
Because they are of use to me when there is concerted effort by them, not independent efforts. They cannot sit in watertight compartments, and in that way they cannot contribute. It shows lack of coordination amongst the subordinates. So they should be told in very clear terms that they should come out of those biases and work in tandem.
Yes, sir.
As a team.
Right,
not
sir.
Separate. Yes. Because the same idea has been given by the lady and same somebody else is giving. So there cannot be, this shows different set of rule for different people.
Yes,
that cannot. So here the leader must act.
Right. So he should take a front foot, and you will be very discreet to tell them directly.
No, I will tell them directly.
Directly.
In very plain terms.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yeah, I think, yes, you have to call a spade and then tell them that this is not done.
Because I need the job done, and it can be done only by collaborating and cooperation, not by this taking separate.
Yeah.
Because as I said, we are here by default, not by design.
Not by design.
So accept her and accept him also. This way things should go on.
Right, sir. Thank you, sir, for that.
मैं इसमें मेरा एक एक्सपीरियंस शेयर करूं सर?
हाँ, sir, please go ahead, sir.
I was in 126 battalion.
Please carry on.
Sir, Mr. K.S. Negi, SS officer was commanding the battalion. तो हम जब भी कोई नया आइडिया देते थे बटालियन की बेहतरी के लिए कि सर ऐसा करते हैं, तो वो साइलेंट हो जाते थे. 20-25 दिन बाद वो फिर बोलते थे, भाई एक काम करो, ऐसे कर लो. तो 2-3 बार के बाद हमने ऑब्जर्व किया कि 15 दिन डिले क्यों करना. तो हम क्या करते थे, आपस में डिस्कस किया हम स्टाफ अफसर ने, और शाम को मैस में बैठ के, सर वो आपने उस दिन ये बोला था ना, करते हैं क्या? ये सब चीजें. The very next day it was implemented. तो ऐसे अधिकारियों के साथ सर कुछ टैक्टफुल होना ही पड़ता है.
Yes. That's right, sir. Sometimes you will have to also be very diplomatic in handling situations. So dealing with bias, yes, these are some of the things that you can have it with you. One is encourage, create an open culture where bias can be discussed. Open yourself to alternatives by asking, is there bias in the decision we are making here? That's number one. Then building safety and accountability. If you find someone making a bias decision out of bias, create a safe environment for them to discuss and decide. So this is the second point or second strategy that can be adopted. Then challenge the decision, not the person. Build a culture of we while addressing biases. So this can be the alternative that you can look at in terms of reducing bias in workplace. So check-in is where you can have somebody included in your final decision when you really want to take a decision and you don't want to have any bias, because you somewhere feel that you need somebody's not guidance, but maybe suggestion. Maybe you're taking some inputs, maybe something you missed out. Maybe while you're taking a decision, maybe that part of it you may miss out. So to confirm it, you're trying to take somebody else along with you to give a consolidated viewpoint. So that's the thing that you can probably do as a take, reduce bias in the workplace. So any out of all these things, or any particular things that you would do as a strategy you would adopt, because now we know that there are so many biases, and we know that it is not actually good in terms of working and atmosphere and decision making and all that. So do you have any particular strategy? And because according to your team size and your battalion, and you know your people well, you know your team, you know all of them well, so maybe something will be more suitable.
Firstly, I as a commander would prevail upon my subordinates by living the example. The charity begins at home.
Yeah.
I would convey in no uncertain terms that there would be no place for bias and prejudices in my battalion, and there would not be any partiality and any favor to anybody on the basis of any external factors. So that message should be disseminated clearly in no uncertain terms. So that would be my approach now.
So you'll first make it very clear to everybody that, because you have observed that there can be possibilities, so you're going to declare it before that there should, you will set a rule by telling that this cannot happen. Yes, sir. Thank you. That's a good point.
Supporting Mr. Antaryami's view,
Yes, sir.
There should not be any communication gap. The very first thing I tell the under command that, look, I don't want memos being exchanged. You have telephone, talk to each other. For anything, straight away. Instead of initiating a message, talk to each other. I don't want to see any messages being played between two officers. If I find anyone, anything, I will catch hold of that person. Simply as.
So you're going to use the stick method.
Yes, yes, ma'am. Because here one has to be very strict.
Strict.
Otherwise, things will not be followed. It is for their own good, for the good of the battalion, for the good of
battalion.
When we are sitting just in the next office, hardly at a stone's throw distance, we can, if I shout, we can overhear. Why to send there is a tendency of sending inter-office notes. This is nonsense. Talk to each other. Simple as that. Why not? Okay. If a company, and why ask for a message from company? The company commander should tell the staff officer, I need this. And the staff officer should comply with that. He should bring it to my notice, I will give this. Why ask for a message? Ki theek hai, message bhej do. No, this is not the way of functioning of a force. Force will fight the war on verbal orders, not on written orders.
So you are going to address the person who really has bias, and you are going to tell them directly that this is.
Yes. As right. Mr. Antaryami said, in no uncertain terms.
Yes.
Straight away.
Right, sir.
Yes.
Any other strategies that you have in mind, sir? relevant to your team? Sujit sir, anything from your side?
Ma'am, sir has covered almost all the aspects. I don't have anything further to add.
Sir, we're not able to hear you.
During the meeting,
Huh.
the sir has covered almost all the aspects.
All
I
the,
don't
okay,
have
okay.
anything further to add. But however,
Okay.
there is one suggestion from my side. If during the discussions or during the meeting, if there
Okay.
was some deviation,
Uh-huh.
those officers or men who were deviating from the unanimous view, they should have been asked the reasons for such deviation.
Okay.
Why
So
they are
this is,
differing from that particular lady or that particular individual.
Mhm.
That could have given a reason to resolve the issue in a better way.
Okay.
Because unless and until you listen to someone why they are disagreeing, it would be improper to take a decision.
Okay. So you would want to hear from both people and then see why this thing happened, and then you will analyze it properly and then you will talk about it.
Naturally, as a commander, it becomes a moral obligation on my part to listen from both the sides before taking any sort of decision. So unless and until you give a patient hearing to both the parties, why they are in disagreement, why they are agreeing, you should not have taken a decision. This is my take.
Okay. So this is in terms of Ria and Ajit case, sir.
Naturally.
Okay. Right. So coming forward to this part of it, as we walk out of the place, so anything that you would want to share about this particular topic? So there are many who want to Mr. Saumidev is
Can I
coming
ask
to
a
ask
question?
another
Yes.
question. Yeah, I know.
Yes, yes. I apologize. With sir's permission, I'd like to ask, ma'am, all of these biases that you have been discussing with commandant sirs, uh, can they go beyond just at that micro scale, looking at an individual only a bias, perhaps with a team, or हम individual का ही देख रहे हैं हमारे ये bias individual team पे आता है? Can it be on a large organizational scale? I ask why because I remember, I think it was Giri sir in the very first day of the session. I don't know which context में he had said that हम forces में ही है, we are in the organization, and it is very difficult to break out of the organization and think, which is very true in something like of that, in, years of service in a force. I could relate that to my father, who takes immense pride in having worked 30 years in a company, and he's very happy to hear the company has reached in a certain rank, but with me he's not that happy. But I feel that these are also biases that work. So how will I break out? Because now that he's retired, I sometimes encourage him, because of the skills and expertise, to take up projects or something else, which are in his domain. He's very expert in that, but it feels like he cannot take himself out of the organizational context, because having worked with the PSU for such a long time, it becomes like inbred in him कि मैं इसके बाहर सोच नहीं पाऊंगा. So I was wondering whether any of these biases work on a much larger scale also than just a macro scale, like a team or individual.
No, it does happen. Yeah, from the other participants also we can hear.
Ma'am, I was just saying, you see,
Yes.
BSF is my home, first home. I spent 10 months out of 12 in BSF. And all of us has gone through that phase and is still going through, when we are living separate from our families. I quote an instance: when my son was born, I was not there. Whenever I would go home when he was still an infant, he would find a stranger sitting beside his mom. He will come and sit in between. Who is this man? So
Yeah.
only when my daughter had 2 months vacation and my Ardhangini joined my place of posting, that he realized that this man is his father. He is my blood. So we have gone through such a phase And as I said, 10 months I am spending here. So I cannot go out of this. And this is my bread and butter. I have raised my family. I have built home. I am telling of those times when we did not get ample amount of pay. Very meager pay was there. And quarterly fee, my daughter had quarterly fee system. So my wife would have 1,000 rupees each saved every month to pay that quarterly fee. So we have seen those days, and still today I have been able to build a home which I can call mine. Even earlier also I had, but mine. I have raised my kids, both of them are serving. It is only due to this force where I have spent my whole life. I cannot forget this. I am part and parcel of this organization. This organization is me. It has now, I have imbibed all the culture and it is in my blood. It will go only once I leave this earth.
Yeah, that's
So-
absolutely true, sir. That's
The
absolutely
biasness.
You can
Soumyadev
call
ji,
it
are you there?
biasness. You can call it, but it is my bias.
No, it's not,
Soumyadev ji, are
sir.
you there?
You have worked in the organization does not mean you have bias. Working in organization, being very,
Truly, sir,
committed.
you have described very
It's
of
being
the
committed. Sir, what Virendra sir said is true in terms of work experience. You have all been working in the place, so there is a commitment to the organization. There is a bondage. There is a association with the brand. So you have actually lived there. You have literally lived there. So you cannot actually come out of that. No, that's not the whole thing. The point is only in terms of bias, wherein you make it a part of your personality. It becomes an integral part of us when we start having bias, and that will affect our own teams and our own decision making, and that perhaps will give rise to a lot of other issues as well. So that is the only part we are talking about. It is not the part where you're working in an organization and because of that biases come. No, it's not because of that. It is because of situations. It is because of people. It is because of affiliation and a lot of other things that has influenced us to be a little biased. So it's just that we can control it. It's not a big deal.
Now, Mr. Rishipal, Mr. T. Mohan was referring to, I was never soft on him. I was harsh on him always. We were together in anti-Naxal operations. But still today I feel it was my honor to serve with him. He is an excellent officer. We never praise on face. But in our core of heart, we have different feelings altogether.
So you had admiration to him, sir.
Yes,
because
I am saying it was an honor. But when we were serving together, I was always harsh on him. Majority of the times, he will get bullshit.
Ma'am, with reference to Soumyadev's question and carrying forward the Virender Giri sir's explanation in reference to that,
yes,
I want to say that there are certain things we lived in BSF for almost all of our life when we joined this. So up to 60 years, when joining the organization at 21 years and leaving this organization after attaining the age of 60, there are certain things which how we lived in this organization, how we groomed in these organizations, we had developed our own biases due to the organization culture. That as the Soumyadev was giving the example of his father, the dedication and belongingness to his fathers, to his company in which he has served, like we also have developed these biases in our character owing to the circumstances under which we had served in this BSF. And that's what we are. See, after 60 years, that's what we are. So that's our biases remain fixed. And that's why we are known, he is from the BSF, that's why he is behaving like that. So these biases will always remain our part and we will be like that only. You had seen in this growth, you had seen in this, we all are responding to many situations in similar way. There are different of opinions. But
Yeah.
generally we are behaving in the similar way. That is because of our biases of looking the situation in that way only.
Yes. Sir, but Ashwini sir, I would like to add here one thing. If you would observe that, BSF, I would appreciate BSF for one thing, that, for the past 1.5 years that I am associated with AIDT, I have been giving training to the BSF commandants, DIGs and all that. So that means they are making an effort to change. It is not that they do not want to change. It is an organizational culture. What you say is correct. See, somewhere we get into the organizational culture if the management, if the top officials, if the top people on the top are bringing in some kind of, culture that will precipitate down below the whole entire organization. So you can say that part of it has come from the organization, from the organizational culture. But they are also trying to bring in some change, and that is why they have given importance to training and this part of training, wherein everybody, they have said that all the entire team has to get the training. It's irrespective of being commandants, it is also for the DIGs, because you are the top, you are the leaders. If you get into all of these things, with the even slightest change, if it is able to bring in, you will precipitate it down to your team members. That is the whole idea. So it is slow to change, but it will happen.
Oh, yes, ma'am. There are many things. So when we joined the BSF, the behavior of our troops are different. And now when we are commandants, and the behavior of the troops are changed. There are a lot of difference between both ages troops. Again, we find very sincere kind of troops जिनको बहुत ज़्यादा दिक्कत नहीं होती थी. आज के डेट में the troops are different. So
because sir, again, because it is of the leaders, because the reason is behind all of you. You as a leader have certain qualities, and that is why it has changed now. So, and the bosses, whoever are there, again, their mindset, their ideology, again, does matter, and it is influencing your entire team. So it will change, sir. It is only the perception, the attitude that we are going to carry. Tomorrow, when you are going to groom your team members who is going to become a leader, they will have they will understand what is the best way of leading teams. And that too in a dynamic situation, they need to change. There is no other further go. They cannot, say that they're going to be the same and they're going to be rigid. Cannot happen that way. You said is right. You're saying it comes from the horse's mouth. You said earlier, whatever was there, it is much changed. Now it is again so different, entirely different. That is because of you, sir. As a leader, you have brought in that. So it's a great remark for yourself. You have got a feedback. So I think that's the whole point here, sir. And any comments on this, I would be happy to take it.
Thank you very much, ma'am. This is a very beautiful lecture regarding the biases and all. And I still find that who's the darker in all those three pictures which you have shown.
Yes. You're still there.
Mathila is still stuck in that picture, no?
With that picture.
Mathila is stuck in that picture, no?
Picture.
feeling guilt.
Feeling guilt, yeah. Probably he's trying to come out of it, but it's not happening. It will come out, sir. You will make an effort to come out. So
he should not come out of that. Being a commander, whatever he says is right.
Yes, sir. So I thank everyone, one and all here for
thank you, madam. Very good lecture.
Great audience and participants here. So thank you, sir, for this.
Very good. Excellent.
Thank you, sir. Thanks for the feedback.
Thank you,
ma'am. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Professor Dadangi. Thank you, ma'am, for the wonderful session. In fact, the session was so intriguing. I had to take permission and also pitch in because I was also so excited to hear all these opinions and interactions. Thank you so much, ma'am.
It's a great
with
learning for me. So I always, come back to the sessions with vigor and interest. Always. Thank you.
thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much. Uh, आज का दिन, sirs, we will wrap up, of course, with this session. Before really, first of all, I'd like to thank Nagendra sir, Ashwani sir, Giri sir. Thank you for your inputs and thank you for that explanation. मैंने actually ये पूछा था बहुत personal question because my father, he gave 30 years to Indian Oil. He just retired a month ago, and he stayed mostly away from me and his family. So he was always posted in refineries. So all his life, I have grown up with my mother. He's been posted outside. So मेरा मम्मी and मेरा conscious effort होता है कि कुछ चीजें, why is he not changing? Why is he? And he always says that that's how I've been functioning in Indian Oil for 30 years. You can't change it. But now we don't, like Nagendra sir said, we have accepted that we can't change him. So we kind of work. My mom and I have tactics to work around it. So now we just have certain tactics, and then we'll allow my father to, धीरे धीरे cover. Yes, Ashwani sir.
Let him live his life now. Don't try to change him.
No, I know. Point well noted, sir. He reiterates it, not explicitly like you did, but he sometimes he just let me live. So we are now mellow. We are like, yes, please enjoy your retirement. Please live. Anyway, thank you so much, sirs, for this wonderful session, for the wonderful interaction today. कल हमारे sessions होंगे on innovation, something that I'm sure you'll enjoy. We'll have Arvind Deshmukh, who was there with you on the program overview session में facilitate किया था. We have Arvind sir throughout. So कल हमारे two lined up sessions of what it takes to have an innovative mindset and developing an innovation culture through a lot of scenarios, case studies. आप लोग के discussion से, it's a very interesting session that always we have very good insights from the CNDP batches on what innovation is for you, because you have many scenarios and case studies that you present yourself also. So you are very excited for the session tomorrow. आज के लिए इतना ही. Thank you so much for bearing with me, and we've provided the feedback form on the link. So please, as usual, as you do, please do share your feedback. Thank you so much, sirs. Good evening and Jai Hind, sir.